I convene the November 20th, 2024 regular board meeting to order at 7 p.m. Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swisback.
Here.
Marjorie Bartelli. Here. Karen Larson.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Josh Martin.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 2 is opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comments. Seeing none, we will move on to item number 3, which acknowledges that Treasurer Larson and Trustee Martin reviewed the October billings in November, and Trustee Berry and Trustee Bryan will review the November billings in December. Agenda item number 4 is the consent agenda. Is there a trustee who wishes to pull something from the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, could I have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Emily Swisback.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Josh Martin.
Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 5 is the audit presentation. Brad Porter is here from Lauterbach and Otten to present the annual audit to the board.
Great to see all of you again. Hard to believe another year is coming on, but I seriously feel like just yesterday I was sitting at that spot on the table, the same exact spiel. So, great to see all of you again. My name is Brad Porter. I'm here on behalf of Lauterbach and Amon as the principal overseeing the library's financial statement audit process. My goal tonight is to take that big bound document and kind of simplify it and break it down into a couple more digestible pieces of information for you. So with that, I'd like to start by thanking the finance team for all of their efforts. We truly have a great experience working with them. Got nothing but glowing things to say in terms of the interactions that we have with staff. They do a tremendous job of ensuring that there are safeguards over library funds, which is really all that you as a board can ask for. So we really appreciate everybody's efforts in getting to this point tonight. Now, at the conclusion of our audit process, we issued 3 documents. The first of which is what we call our SAS 114 letter. In accordance with Statement on Auditing Standard number 114, we are required to state whether or not we had any disagreements or difficulties with management that we've encountered during our audit process. And as you can probably imagine, in the body of that letter, you'll find no such disagreements or difficulties noted. Now, I'd like everybody to turn to page 1 within our audit document. That's going to be the picker of the 2 bound documents you received tonight. I see a lot of Lauterbach and Amon letterhead there. So, believe it or not, page 1 is your most important page within your audit document. Depending on who you ask, I like it. But so this is what we call our independent auditor's report. We are obviously hired as your audit firm to generate an opinion on the financial statements that are provided to us by management. I'm happy to report that for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024, we have issued what is known as an unmodified opinion, which is the highest form of opinion that any governmental entity can receive, ultimately stating that we as your auditors believe the financial statements are presented fairly and that there are sound internal controls over the library's funds. So we do a number of walkthroughs over your receiving, disbursement, payroll, financial reporting, credit card processes to ensure that we can ultimately rely on the internal control environment. And as I'll get into here momentarily, we had no such findings on the internal control front, both in fiscal 24 or prior. So congratulations on the clean opinion. If you can turn with me to page 4. On page 4, you'll see a lot of words. This is what we call our management's discussion and analysis. And I know with being a library, everybody loves reading and loves words, right? So I like to point out this section here because it's really going to do a good job of breaking things down into a narrative format. Sometimes the financial statements can be quite complicated and difficult to comprehend. So this set of 6 or 7 pages here, I would highly recommend you spend most of your time and energy on. And you're going to walk away with a really good bird's eye view of fiscal 24. It'll have some comparative information with previous years. So again, highly recommend some light reading there with the management discussion and analysis section. Now, if you could please turn with me to page 18. how did we do for fiscal year 2024? Page 18 is what we call our statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. That's kind of a fancy term for our income statement for the year. So you'll see your general fund, your special reserve fund, and that non-major column is the cumulative sum of your IMRF and Social Security funds, which didn't meet the GASB parameters to be what's called a major fund. So you can actually find those financial statements on pages 52 and 53 if you're interested. But we'll kind of highlight general fund and special reserve fund here tonight. The third line up from the bottom, everybody with me there, where it says net change in fund balance, that's essentially going to be our net income or net loss for those respective funds for the fiscal year. I say loss kind of loosely, but the general fund ultimately had an increase in fund balance of $282,355, which is great. I think from a percentage standpoint, that was 11.6% for the prior year. The special reserve fund had a budgeted spend down of funds there, so we had a $78,000 reduction in our special reserve fund for fiscal year 2024, ending with about $553,000 in accumulated fund balance there. In case you're curious how your general fund's unassigned fund balance looks, I did a quick calculation. We've got about 7.8 months of fund balance in unassigned fund balance. Sorry, 7.8 months of reserves in unassigned fund balance, which is a very, very healthy target for a library. I work with a lot of them, and that's right in line with where you want to be from a financial health standpoint. All right, now the third piece of required communication is what we call our management letter, and that's oftentimes the board's least favorite part of my conversation, but not tonight. So the primary purpose of this document is going to be to communicate any best practices that we see across some of our other library clients or other governmental clients. We also utilize this document to provide some information on upcoming GASB standards that might have an impact on your organization, GASB being the standard setting body for governmental standards. And in this case, we had 2 current recommendations solely related to upcoming accounting pronouncements. So we issue these in every single management letter that we have. There's nothing that the library team did or didn't do with regards to that. And as I alluded to previously, there were no internal control recommendations or weaknesses that we had identified in our testing. So all in all, a very great year for the library, and we're really appreciative of all their efforts to get us to this point. I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Take care.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So item number 6 is unfinished business. 6A, 1 and 2 involve the capital improvement project, general updates and summary. Mark, can you
Yes, Bob.
begin discussion on these items?
Let's see, the podium's too formal. I'll be quick today because we don't have too much action. More reporting to make sure you're up to speed with what's coming up into December. Right now, first off, general update, South Wall seepage. There was supposed to be, and I have not checked in Lisle yet, the Betnay conjunction in the South Wall. I went by there and didn't really see it, so that was a good thing, I think, because they had to dig under a little bit to get it. So unless you guys have any issues with it, maybe we can see what happens over the next few months as we get into get wet and everything else.
Yeah, they said wait about 40 days for it to fully work its magic.
Great, and as its water starts to kind of crystallize and work, so that's why we want to get that. All right, so we'll monitor, and if there's anything else that comes up, then we'll go from there. And I think that is the product that you can do over and over. If you absolutely have to, but don't have to, because it's cost effective. BAS update, we did hold a kickoff meeting on the board with IBS. In the process of putting together a submittal package, which then gets reviewed by our engineering to confirm that it's acceptable to the library, at which point we'll hopefully approve them, and they will have a 4-week lead time until they start work on the actual building. My estimation around the holidays and everything else, I'm just assuming the pipes are right at the first of the year. It might start a little bit before then, but we'll kind of ease into it and not rip everything over just get it before Christmas and have kids are off and everything else in the library as well. So, other than that, we have HVAC condensing rebate out right now. It hit the street in 11/4. There was optional site visit that 2 contractors showed up to on the 13th. We did send it to a much larger pool of contractors. We are monitoring interest payments due the second, which is the Monday after the holiday. Yeah, we're monitoring it to make sure, I don't think it's anything we absolutely have to accept. If someone says, hey, I can't submit it or something like that, it can be an extra 24 hours. We'll talk about that, but we'd like to hold the second if we can, so it gives us enough time to review it before we get back to the board. Executive report, this is just a summary of what I've basically gone through. I'm not going to read anything too much in the executive report. I think we all know where that stands in terms of capital equipment, capital planning for future, and make it lot planning. So with that, I'm sure enough today, hopefully. Any questions?
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone have any questions for Mark this evening? No, thank
Nice
you.
and simple. Thank you.
Good for you. Thanks, Mark.
Yep, thanks.
Happy
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
you too.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 7 is committee reports. 7A is finance.
I have nothing to report. We are trying to get a date together. It looks like it'll be after the first of the year.
Okay, 7B, personnel and policy. Okay. 7C, physical plans.
Yes, we did meet on November 6th, 7 p.m. And the primary focus of the discussion was around refreshing, well, sunsetting the existing facility report and working with CCS over the course of their efforts to develop additional recommendations. And we are also going to continue to meet on a regular cadence to address any of the things that they might have, but as of right now, there's nothing significant that is being addressed by the physical plan.
Do you want to mention what we talked about for a while, the EV charging?
Yeah, I can. We did explore.
Just a brief
Yes,
mention
we did.
for those who
We
were
did,
there.
yes, explore the potential for EV charging. The consensus was we need some more information. We do want to continue to explore with what the village is doing. But as of right now, obviously no decisions made other than continuing to understand what is being done from a larger intergovernmental or park district and village standpoint for both vehicles and charging.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7D, strategic planning.
We have a meeting scheduled for December 11th at 7 p.m. We finally found the date, so.
What day is it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
It's a Wednesday, okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 8 is staff reports. 8A is director's reports. Director Weinstein.
Yes. So I'll begin with the staff development day. I know this happened moons ago, but I just wanted to thank the Board of Trustees again for making that day possible. Staff received a refresher on CPR training, the AED devices, which was great from the Lisle Woodridge Fire District, and it was a wonderful presentation. Everybody gained something from that. We also conducted our emergency drills for fire, tornado, and Code Adam, which was great because the week after we had a false alarm fire drill, and staff knew what to do. And we're investigating that false alarm. We think it might have just been because the heat came on and there was some maybe cobwebs next to one of them or something. The fire department said that that's a regular occurrence. So we haven't had any issues since, but it was good that we did our drills and everybody knew what to do. We also had instructors from the College of DuPage and the YMWCA come out and talk to us about communication styles with youth, teens, and adults. Will and I conducted a program where we acted out challenging situations with patrons, and that was fun. And just how to manage those situations. And we had a Q&A with staff on like, what if this, what if that, and that was very productive. And then I just don't only want to thank you, the board, but I want to thank Will for partnering with me on that project. It's an exhausting day. But it's a lot of planning and scheduling and making sure people are coming and going during the right time so that all of our staff are walking through the process well. So it was a really good day, a lot of Q&A, and I think staff got a lot out of it. Moving on, next in my report is the intergovernmental meeting summary. I normally don't go over this because it's like a courtesy summary for the board, but I will mention that the village is holding a joint review board meeting on the existing TIFs on December 11th at 3 p.m. at Village Hall, same day as our strategic planning meeting. I will be at that meeting representing the library, and I know I mentioned this to the board last go around about the tips. So I did ask the village manager if he expects the mayor to ask the JRB, the Joint Review Board, for an opinion on anything regarding any upcoming TIFs or expansion of TIFs, and the village manager said no. This should be status quo meeting on all the existing TIFs, and if there were to be more meetings on expansion or additional TIFs, we would receive notice, appropriate notice, so that I could then, come here and ask the board for a consensus opinion or something like that. So it should be a regular meeting on the 3 existing TIFs in our community. Next is the annual audit. As we just saw, Brad did a great job going over our financial position. I too want to thank Jackie for all of her work. It is a lot of work. She provides all the information to the auditors. It's a lot, and it really makes it a smooth experience for them. So thank you, Jackie. That's good. Then moving on, I'm going to skip the levy because that's an action item for discussion. And then under the HVAC project heading, Will, Sandy, our IT manager, and I met with CCS and IBS to discuss the upcoming software upgrade project, and Will talk more about the walkthrough. And then just moving on to the harassment prevention training portion of my report. As part of the Workplace Transparency Act, all Illinois employers are required to provide employees annual training about preventing sexual harassment and harassment in general. So both library employees and trustees are required to complete the training per our policy 901. The deadline for completing it is at the end of this month. We're almost at 100%, so I thank everyone who did it, and just advance thanks to those of you who haven't yet. But just a reminder, November 30th, okay?
We'll get that done.
Thank you. All right. And just a reminder, I know I sent something out via email last month. There is something called the Legislative Meetup. It will be in Oak Brook. It's where libraries are going to come together for a luncheon with our local legislators. And if you are interested, tomorrow is my deadline for registration. So it's on December 3rd. It's Tuesday at noon. I know Trustee Barry has requested coming. Will and I will be attending. But if anybody else wants to check their calendar when they get home, let me know by tomorrow morning, please, because I need to register by tomorrow. And lastly, I wanted to share a wonderful email we received from one of our home delivery patrons, and just a reminder for everybody out there that the library provides home delivery service to patrons within the district who have a card, and if they qualify, which means if they cannot visit the library in person due to a disability or a temporary condition that keeps them from visiting the library. So, and there's an assessment for all of that. We received a nice long email. I'm going to truncate it just a bit, but I'd like to read it to you. So it's really nice. She says, please remove me from your home delivery list effective today, as our transportation needs thankfully are clearing up after the past 5 months of not being able to drive. My husband has macular degeneration and is now able to resume driving again in daylight while wearing bioptic glasses, and has completed specialized training for this. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. I have greatly appreciated the library's home delivery services during this past few months, including the 2 times when you were the library elf who came to my door bearing books. As Thanksgiving approaches, I include the library's home delivery services and our being able to drive again as our gratefulness list. So this is so nice to hear. I just want to also mention that Carolyn in Adult Services is our coordinator. She's also that elf. She does a great job with the program with our home delivery patrons. We also have 4 wonderful volunteers. I want to mention their names. It's Carla, Leanne, and Helene, and Emily. And we currently have 45 people in the program.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's my report. Thank you. Any questions for the director? 8B is Assistant Director's report. Assistant Director Savage.
Thank you. So highlights from the month. I had a few meetings over the phone with different members of the Lisle Public Works Department, asking for references on companies come out and do different odd jobs around, which has been a great resource, which actually led me straight to Sort of Propaners down at the very bottom. They were recommended by the village for doing painting jobs. They were able to come out and finish the light poles on the south lot, as well as restriping the crosswalk on the south lot after we got that concrete done. So thank you to the Public Works Department. I really greatly appreciate that. We had the American Red Cross held a blood drive in the meeting rooms on the 21st, and they actually had to shut down early because they ran out of space to store donations. So they were extremely appreciative, and the rep on the phone let me know that those donations potentially served 126 people who need blood. So
This is our second one.
this is our second one of doing this. The first one was a last-second emergency. Their previous site had to back out. They're looking for anywhere in the village, in Lisle, to step up. We were able to do that, and so yeah, it was a great success. They were extremely appreciative. As Tatiana mentioned, we had a false alarm fire alarm a few weeks ago. So I've had Johnson come out several times. I've had Chicago Electric Fire come out several times to try to assess the situation. The fire department, as Tatiana mentioned, thinks that it would have just been a dust or some sort of cobweb in the smoke detectors, as we had just recently had our annual inspection and everything was fine. But we're still taking a look at the panel to make sure that it wasn't any sort of mechanical error or software error. And then the IBS walkthrough. So we met with 2 engineers from IBS. They came out and we walked them through the entire building. They wanted to see all the nooks and crannies. They went up in the ceiling to look at the VAV boxes. They wanted to make sure that they knew which ones were newish, which ones were oldish, which ones had been Frankenstein on previous projects. So they were very thorough. And they are currently working on getting us their first set of proposals for exactly what specifically they plan on doing and when starting and all that good stuff. So they will be reaching out to CCS and myself, letting us know when they're ready to continue. And that is oh, actually, no, I've got one more. This was Metal Master completed their fall inspection recently, and then will be coming out to remedy any of the issues they saw when they came out. Mostly, there's Metal Master is our company who does our roof, under our roof for us. They mostly found issues with areas that need new caulk. The second level of this part of the building, where there are wood that matches up with stone on the facade, and some of that caulk is failing. Schedule them to come up and patch those things up shortly.
Any questions for this? Thank you. All right, moving on. Item number 9 is new business. 9A is to accept the annual audit. May I have a motion and a second?
I move to accept the Lisle Library District's annual audit year ending June 30th, 2024.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Okay, seeing none. Jackie, can you please call the roll?
Emily Swister,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Josh Martin.
Thank you, motion passes. 9B is to adopt ordinance 24-07, tax levy ordinance. May I have a motion and a second, and then Director Weinstein will summarize.
I move to adopt ordinance 24-07, the tax levy ordinance, levying taxes for corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025.
I'll second. Okay, motion and a second. Director Weinstein.
Okay, so I'm hopeful that the overview document did a lot of the talking already, but I'll give a short summary just for the public benefit. So this levy, the revenue generated via this levy will be received in the next fiscal year. The levy cannot exceed the amounts that they appropriated in the B&A. The B&A ordinance was reviewed by our attorney and approved by the board back in September. that's just some background. Tonight's ordinance shows a 3.8 increase from last year's extension, which aligns with CPI data for our region. In the overview document, there's a little chart there that I pulled from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showing CPI over a number of years and an average for the current year. And that's really our goal. We want to align with CPI so that the library can continue to meet our obligations to the district. And then just a reminder that last year, our levy, we opted to levy 4.8% over the extension last year. And I mentioned this to say that we always consider the current economic conditions as we draft our levy. We do this every year. We don't just levy 4.99999 every year. We pay attention, we analyze the BLS data and then our own financial situation as we move forward drafting the levy. And then just the last mention that this ordinance 24-07 has also been reviewed by our attorney. He's praised the library for our pragmatic levies year after year. And just with that, the administration respectfully recommends that the board adopt tax levy ordinance 24-07 as presented.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the director? Any other discussion? Okay, Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swister,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli,
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Josh Martin.
Thank you, motion passes. 9C is to approve the certification of compliance with TIA. May I have a motion and a second, and then Director Weinstein will summarize.
I move to approve the annual certificate of compliance with the Truth in Taxation Act, also known as TIA.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second, Director Weinstein.
Yes, and this document just lets the public know we are not taxing beyond 105%.
Any other discussion on that? Okay, Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swister,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli,
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Josh Martin.
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Item number 10 is the opportunity for trustee comments. We'll go with Vice President Martelli. Welcome.
I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And also, thank you, the book club in the bag, very successful. Excellent book club, absolutely love it. Love it. I wanted you all to know. Very receptive. We enjoyed it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Sullivan.
Nothing
else? Nothing? Thank you. Trustee Bryan?
I just wanted to say, great job, Jackie, on the audit. I know that's a lot of work, and I'm sure you also, Tatiana, will play the part, but a lot of it falls on her. And great job, and wonderful report. So thank you for all your hard work and everything.
Thank you. Treasurer Larson?
Nothing really. Hope everybody has great holidays.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Martin?
Yes, Director Weinstein, thank you for sharing the home delivery news. That's great. I like hearing that. And I believe you said it was Carolyn who's in charge of that, and Carla, Leanne, Emily. I'm pleased that there are people who are considering that, especially given that you have someone who is really desiring to use the library services and physically or for some other reason can't. So it's great that our services can extend that way. It's great news. And then on the audit itself, I'm also on some other public service for some other types of boards, and I will tell you that it is really a testament that there is no contention or question whatsoever in the audit report. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that there's no comment on the audit report, not because it's not digested or understood or well received, it's because it is so well done and straightforward and transparent. And to the representative's point, the management letter is really positive. There's no ambiguity, no uncertainty. It's really a testament, again, to the library organization. So thank you again for making sure all of our finances are in order so that those audit reports are presented so smoothly and without controversy.
Trustee Berry? couple of things. One was I was doing yard work the other day with all the leaves before the weather turned in. Was talking to some of my neighbors across the street that I haven't seen in a while, and they were talking about how much they are enjoying the retirees, and so enjoying that there are programs at the library that they have been attending. So they really appreciate that. The wife was talking about how much she enjoys coming to the coffee and crafts, and then they did ask about the Friends organization, and I just said that what we have experienced is kind of resolved at the moment, but we would like to see that kind of come back, and that we be talking about that. And she expressed an interest, like saying that would be something that she would like to be part of, not run, but something that she would like to be part of, that if there was a Friends organization, to do something else to help support the library. So I kind of wanted to share that with everyone, in that there are people, in the community that are interested in helping support, and so it's kind of been a while since we've talked about the Friends organization, so just kind of wanted to put that back in our heads. So that, and they talked about how they miss the music programs that the Friends used to put on. So
We do have some. We do have some, probably not as many because the Friends would do it almost like every other Sunday or something, but we have folded in music programs in our adult services.
So I'll make sure that they know that. And we talked about how how the book sales used to be, and we talked about kind of reminiscing about that. And then the other thing that we talked about too was the book clubs, and how great it is that we have all these different kinds of book clubs. And then about how sometimes, so the wife was talking about how sometimes she doesn't necessarily want to read the book, but she still wants to kind of be a part of something. And we talked about actually something that happens at the school where I'm working at. They do a book club that's not, everyone has to read the same book. It's like, for this month, we're reading this genre or something, and then topic, and then people come and they just talk about it, or they don't. They sit and listen, but they can share about the book that they're reading or something like that. And when I just mentioned that to her, she said, "Oh, I would love something like that too. It's a little bit more open, where you don't have to read the exact same book, but you can still come and talk about what we're going to talk about." So anyway, I said I would share it, and so I'm sharing it. So there's that. And then other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And the last item on the agenda is to adjourn. So can I get a motion in a second?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:33 p.m.